I'll start it. Vishnu, can you try again? Yes, please.
Once again, good evening. Today, on behalf of the Department of Communicative English, Marian College Kuttikkanam Autonomous, I would like to welcome all of you present here to attend the workshop on writing skills for IELTS conducted under the Paramish scheme. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who have taken their time to attend this workshop. Today, we have with us Ms Ankita Jain, who is a certified language trainer, British Council, as a speaker for the day. I take this opportunity to welcome Ms Ankita Jain to today's workshop. I welcome
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vishnu.
I welcome Dr. Shintu Dennis, our department head, Dr. Blessing Sibi, and all our faculty. I once again welcome all the participants to this workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishnu. Blessing sir, over to you to introduce the speaker to us.
Oh, yes. It's my pleasure, in fact, to introduce our guest speaker of the day, Ms Ankita Jain. She's a very good friend of mine and, in fact, an accommodating classmate too. She's originally from Ambala, Haryana. And, in fact, we both share the same ELT background. So Ms. Jain is, in fact, a meritorious ELT professional. She's specialized in IELTS exams, the format and stuff like that. And she has a profound knowledge in evaluating, analyzing, and to point out the real kind of errors made by the language learners for some time, I think. And she's a certified professional, both by the British Council and Trinity College, London. She is a gem of a piece in the field of academic writing, because I came to know all these things because we shared some time together in our classroom, and it's all because of her writing skills and all. I came to know about her style, her kind of passion towards language. That all, in fact, she carries forward a huge legacy of being a master trainer in the language training industry for several years, I think. And she has, in fact, acquired the maximum grades in IELTS twice. Am I right, Ankita?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah, right. And she's, in fact, a person whom we should approach in the case of academic writing and, in fact, IELTS. So here is Ankita Jain for you. Thanks for coming in on short notice, Ankita Jain.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like, I really want to thank Marian College for this opportunity, first of all, because really it feels nice when talking to people from the other part of our country, because generally we have this boundary of north and south. So it is actually a privilege for me, so that I can just share my experiences and I can just guide you people. So that would be a special thanks to Dr. Blessing, because he let me this opportunity, and he made me build this bridge and gap between the north and south thing, which I actually came to know when we were in the training course. So this was something which we were always going through, and this was the hardship. So specifically today I would be talking about IELTS writing module. So I hope all of you must be aware about the IELTS exam, basically International English Language Testing System. So it is all in 4 parts. So we have reading, writing, speaking, listening. So specifically today, we would be talking about the writing module, the module where generally people, lack their bands majorly, because the rest of the modules are still practical, still interesting, still you can, gain bands. But with the writing module, it becomes very tedious. It is actually difficult. So there are certain criteria through which actually people are not aware of it. So just starting the main criteria of the checking, the evaluation, I just want to brief out something about IELTS writing. 1 minute.
Excuse me, Ebimol, can you stop the presentation of the poster?
I can share now, right?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Yeah. One minute. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah, it's, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, right. So I see some technical glitch, so that's why I was confirming. Okay, fine. So let's start with the writing module, academic specifically. So guys, there are two types of examination. One is GT, general training, and one is AC, academic. So GT is for people who wants to pursue for PR things specifically. So academic would be helpful for people who want to pursue studies. So today we would be discussing, as you are students, so you are not eligible for PR right now. So let's talk about writing academics. So writing academics have two things. One is task 1 and task 2. So task 1 is basically graphical representation, right? So graphical representation here, I'll explain you further what exactly there it is in it. So I'm just giving you brief instruction before that. It is for 20 minutes and the word limit is 150 minimum. So by 150 minimum, it does not mean that you can write 300 words or 400 words. So 150 minimum is the minimum requirement, but maximum should not exceed that. Maximum should be write 180. You can just exceed to 180, but not beyond 200, 300, 400. So there are certain limitations. So under length is a problem, but over length is also a problem. Next is task 2, which is an essay. Again, it is for 40 minutes and the word limit is for 250. So overall, the writing module is of 9 bands. So generally, most of you have this issue that is it 50-50? Is it 4.5 band or 4.5 band? Is it 3 band or 6 band? Generally, there is no such criteria like this. Your individual task would be evaluated according to the band descriptor. So it is not bifurcated. Yes, no doubt, writing task 2 holds more weightage, like 66% of the marking, but then both of them would be evaluated according to it. So you would be graded out of 9 in both the modules, and then an average would be taken out. So let's start with task 1. So if I talk about task 1, there are types of task 1. So you can see that first is a bar graph. So this is what I meant by graphical representation, right? So you can have a multiple bar graph, a horizontal bar graph, or a vertical bar graph. So a graph can be of anything. So obviously there would be statistics present to you in these types of graphs. So second type is a line graph. I hope most of you must have seen these presentations in newspapers or in analysis or in your studies. So we take these help to tell what exactly is going on. So this is what you have to do in your task 1. Another is your pie chart and table. So pie chart is like a pizza, a pie, right? So it where it is divided more into easy things. It is more easy to attempt a pie chart because, you know, the figures are more into 100%. And then we have table. So table can be again multiple columns and rows table, or it can be a concise one. So what important in task 1 is, in these 4 particularly, is that it can become in combination and it can also come individual. So you can have a detailed table or you can have a combination of pie and table. Similarly, if I go to the previous one, you can have a bar graph alone, or you can have a combination of bar graph or a line graph or a pie chart or a bar graph. So you can have combination or as an individual whole. It all depends how you attempt, basically. So apart from these 4 representation, we do have another 3 sets of task 1, which are also included. That is process, diagram, and maps. So nowadays, recently, if we were just analyzing past 1-2 years, we are getting maps also. Earlier, maps, diagrams, and process were part of IELTS, but they were not too much in number in as in the question paper. But now, what is happening is recently they have started giving maps. So a process is like, I've given an example, like making of a chocolate, manufacturing of any good. It can be a brick or a hat, anything. So a process like how we make a chocolate, right from step 1 till step 10, how it is made, side like you have a cocoa powder and then you add sugar. So this kind of thing. A diagram which comes very, very rare, that is life cycle of any animal. They can give a horse or a butterfly. These are the fixed one which I'm naming because these are the limited ones which are available on IELTS portal as well. So you have a butterfly or a beetle or a horse. So you have got this kind of a diagram. And then we have maps, which has now become very important and which has to be attempted with specifically. There's a confusion in maps. So map is basically any construction of an island or a school or a mall. So they can give you any construction before or after. They can give you construction of before and a future plan. So basically what happens is people do get confused in map in terms of how to attempt. Because majorly in many of the institutes, we don't practice them much because we give more weightage to the other ones, which is very obvious because these are the ones which come more like pie chart, line, bar graph, they come more. So maps have become more important. So hardly important, I would say more important as in nowadays. So it is like how we figure it out, two constructions. So this is all what is included in task 1. So if I move further, we have types of task 2. So in task 2, basically it is essay. So ideally we all have been doing essays throughout our school or in our college also, people in like you guys are all from English department. But here there is slight difference in the IELTS essay. What is the difference in IELTS essay is that what we have been doing earlier, we don't have to attempt it in this way. And we have types of essays. So first type says agree or disagree. So agree or disagree means whether you agree with the statement or you disagree with the statement, right? So if I say that nowadays pollution is increasing day by day, do you agree or disagree? It can be a question. To what extent do you agree or disagree? It can be again a question. Next is both views. Both views is where examiner is asking you to analyze both sides of the question, good and bad. Maybe good or good, bad or bad. So what do I mean by that? Is like nowadays people believe that capital punishment is the only way to eradicate crime. However, others believe that this is too harsh. So I'm giving her here two opinions. One opinion is favoring capital punishment and other is not favoring capital punishment. So in this type of an essay, you have to give weightage to both the sides and you have to attempt both the sides. Next is a problematic essay, which is the most easiest essay and students love doing this essay ideally. Because here you have direct questions related to what are the reasons, what are the effects, and what are the solutions. For example, if I say nowadays children are more into internet. So what are the reasons behind it and what are the solutions to overcome this problem? So it is easy to attempt. Reasons, solutions. Now, next we have direct questions. In direct questions, this is a type of a question which has become more frequent nowadays because examiner, they have, IELTS have uplifted the bar of difficulty and these are the questions which have come lately, too much of them. So what do you mean by direct questions? Where they are directly asking you your opinion. Like when I attempted my IELTS exam, so my question was nowadays people are spending more and money on weddings. So do you think it is a positive or a negative development? What is your opinion on it? So these are direct questions. They are directly asking you, what do you think about it? Positive or a negative? And last is advantage and disadvantage. For academic, in this type of particular question, there is a change. So the change is that they don't ask you directly advantage and disadvantage, they will add an opinion also in it. So what do I mean by that is that they will say do advantages outweigh disadvantage. So whether you feel advantage is more or disadvantage is more, again you have to attempt both the sides, but then you have to give weightage to one of the side. So these are the types of task 2 which generally come. Further we'll discuss how, and with an example you will get more clarity how it will work, right? So the next important part of IELTS which I want to discuss today was the band descriptors. These are the part which actually affects your IELTS writing a lot. And these are the things which many of the people don't tell while they are having coaching or while they are being taught. These are the main thing. According to this, only your evaluation is done. If these parts are missing, then your IELTS writing is of no use. And then you will be, stuck up with 5.5 or 6 bands. So 6 band now is not a very good score. As you know, the difficulties are increasing, so band level has also increased, and you guys are all graduates, so you require more bands for admissions, like 7 bands. So writing is the only one which will pull you down. So this today the main topic for discussion was band descriptors, where you have to actually work on your English and see how things will go on. So the first foremost important band descriptor is task achievement and task response. So what do we mean by task achievement or task response? As by the word and the meaning you can guess, achievement means have we achieved what is being asked, right? So task achievement is calculated in task 1. So in task 1, as we have discussed that there are so many graphical representations. So the examiner is looking for, have you achieved the task? Have you done proper analysis? Have you done proper comparisons? Next is your task response. So task response means answering the question which examiner is asking, which is more asked in task 2. So in task 2, when a question is given, the first and foremost is you should understand what the question is saying. If your question is not understood, then everything goes in vain. So let's see, the first is a band descriptor. Here's an example of task 2 in front of you, which says government investment in the arts, such as music and theater, is a waste of money. Government must invest this money in public services instead. So my type of question is, to what extent do you agree with this statement? So here, if I look about task response, so I have to look here, who is talking, what are they talking about, and where are they focusing? These are the 3 tips, I would say, which can help you to achieve your task. What are the 3 tips? I would say again is, who is talking, what are they talking about, and where are they focusing? So if I see this question, so it is like, who is talking? So they are talking, who is talking is basically society. A society is making an opinion here that government invest, because we are the people who, judge government, that what are they doing, what are they not doing, right? So who is talking? What are they talking about? They are talking about government budget. They are talking about government investment, that they are investing where, and specifically where they are talking in the art section. So we are saying that government has a budget for art, which we think is a waste of money. So we feel that government can invest more somewhere else. For example, nowadays, in this pandemic situation, we feel that government is lacking resources, why they are doing this, why they are doing that. So we have this opinion. So we feel that government should look on the crisis of medical area, where they should, focus more. So this is a natural opinion. So now the question says, to what extent do you agree with this statement? You have to see that on what part you have to agree or disagree. So if I look at this question and see to what part I have to agree or disagree, I would see that I have to agree or disagree on the investment, whether the investment on arts is right or wrong, right? So this is the purpose of your first band descriptor. where you have to answer the question accordingly. So I'll give you an example further how now where the task response reflects. The task response reflects on your introduction and on your body paragraph as well. So basically your whole task is restricted to that. So with the task response, you have to see that you don't have to generalize, you are on topic, and you are covering all the issues. For example, if I say this is a sample for an essay, I know the essay has to be long, so it's a detailed sample, but then this is the best way to, make you guys understand what is task response. So here it is like, it is argued that governments are wasting their resources by paying for the preservation of arts and what they would be better off spending the funds on public sector. While it is crucial to increase spending on public services such as education, transport, and should not cut all their expenses on arts. So basically, if you see, here the opinion is related to what? It is more that we should look upon the other sectors. I made an opinion and I responded it that way, that I am favoring that government should spend on other sectors as well by cutting some of the expenses. So what are the other sectors where government can focus? Transport, education, medical service. So we have to see the bigger picture of the thing because we are talking about the government. A government is involved, so obviously the government will focus on a bigger picture. And then immediately after that, I have started with my explanation. So as I'm favoring more to the government services others, so I started with public service. So this is what I am responding. So this is what you call as task response, right? So let's move previous. Next is the lexical resources. So lexical resources here mean vocabulary, right? Lexical resources includes vocabulary. Apart from vocabulary, lexical resources also includes collocations. So what are collocations? Where you have to sync between what verb and what noun you are using together. And lexical resources also includes spellings. So you have to be very careful what spelling you are using. You have to be very careful what word you are using. For instance, when I say a word harmful, so harmful is also known as detrimental, right? Harmful can have another effect of saying dangerous. So a dangerous thing is also harmful. So now you have to select the appropriate word which will fit according to your essay. So everything cannot be dangerous. Everything might be harmful, but it cannot be dangerous. So right selection of words, right selection of rephrasing. So you have to look for this lexical resource. Okay, so there's a very common question generally students ask, that if we put a lot of good words, will I get 9 bands? No, you cannot get 9 bands just by putting difficult words. You cannot have a 9 band just because you have put a high level of vocabulary. Because first, other band descriptors are also responsible for it. And second thing, whether you have used those words appropriately or not, whether those words are matching your context or not. Because nowadays, people in IELTS are doing in scripted format. They believe more in scripted format. So when you are scripted, when you learn things, you just forget that your own writing does not match with the scripted writing. So the scripted writing has got a good level, but your writing level does not match that. So it is very easy for the examiner to gauge that you have learned, you have not understood. See guys, it's a language paper. It's an English language paper. It's not a subject paper where we are learning something and writing and just completing the things. So we have to be more, focus on the technicality of English for this particularly paper. So if I look about here in the essay again, so I have written like words here, by paying for the preservation of art. So saving of art has become a preservation. Crucial has become important. If you look at the words, traffic projects, like just by using traffic jam. So traffic projects can be there, congestion can be used. So these are the different words which are used in lexical resources. So a lexical resource is where you are changing a basic word into a better word, where you can combine 2-3 meanings in one word. So this is what is the idea behind lexical resource. The next important band descriptor is grammatical range accuracy. So I would like to erase a myth behind that. Is grammatical range accuracy is not only tenses. It is not restricted to only tenses. So it does not mean my essays write in terms of tenses, so I will get 9 bands. No, it is much beyond that. Obviously, tenses are part of grammar, but then it is not the only agenda behind your grammatical range accuracy. For a grammatical range accuracy, you have to keep in mind punctuations. Punctuations, why I'm stressing, because punctuation is the major thing where people lack, because they forget to write it, they don't put it, because we are not in habit of writing. Now, if I talk about today's generation, which is more into SMS language, mobile language, right? So we have killed our language skills because of it. So IELTS writing is a formal writing where you cannot put shortcuts, you cannot put abbreviations. So, and you cannot put your urban slangs. So you have to be careful with what language you're using. So in grammar also, you have to look upon punctuations. You have to look upon the other aspects of grammar like articles, prepositions. So nowadays we don't put the and we just forget. We have to use these things so that our grammar range accuracy is fulfilled. Punctuation, again, I've told you why I'm specifically saying again and again, because this is the major thing which is, eliminated by the people. And the third, the most important thing for a higher band is your complex structures. Without complex structures, you cannot get a higher band. That's for sure. So you need to work on your different types of sentence structures, which is very, very important. So if you are targeting, okay, 6 bands, I just don't need more bands. I'm just 6 bands. I'm happy with this. So you need not put much effort. You can write in a simple way, but yes, complex structures are the key to success for a higher band. If you want a good band, you need to focus on it. So again, if you look at the sample here, so you can see it's written on the other hand. So a connector was used, a comma is put after that. Improving public service is crucial for development of a country, a structure. Then if you look on the next sentence, for example, again, a connector is put, a punctuation mark is put. When the funds are utilized for traffic projects like road maintenance or public transportation, comma, the number of traffic accidents will reduce and people can plan. So these are the type of complex structure. What do you mean by complex structure? A complex structure is basically when we put together 2 or 3 ideas in a single sentence. So obviously, for this, we use the linking words. Without linking words, you cannot form a complex structure. Without proper knowledge of punctuations, you cannot form complex structure. So these structures, so there are variety of structures available, and you have to practice them in separate and then make them use in your writing. Because unless you don't know the logic behind those structures, you cannot infuse them. So yes, definitely for a higher band, you need to work on this more. So I always recommend my students that after you reach a level of writing, practice these things separately so that, and start infusing them one by one. Just don't jumble all things together. Take one by one step. First, you may start with a compound sentence. A compound sentence is where we add 2 ideas together of a same meaning, and then you can convert into a complex sentence, and then you can complete into a complex and a compound sentence. So this is a grammatical aspect. So this is again a very important aspect of band descriptor, which will give you a higher band. Last but not the least, and again an important one, is coherence and cohesion. So this word coherence and cohesion, basically it is related to what? Linking of ideas. Now, many of you must be reading a lot of novels, lot of articles. So when you go through all these things, you must have noticed that everything goes in a sync. So there is no mismatch of ideas, there are no mismatch of sentences. So everything goes in a proper formation, a smooth link where it is comfortable for a reader to read. Same is the essay. If your essay is in a smooth transition, it will give a much more better impact rather than it is talking about two different things. So what I mean by this is that if I'm writing a point and immediately after that I'm writing another point which is not relevant to it, I'm barring this thing, that coherence and cohesion, I'm just putting an error out of it. So you have to make sure whatever you are writing, you are completing the sentence. Again, if we go back to the example, you see that the introduction is completed, and after introduction, immediately a connector is added to give a starting of a sentence. And then the paragraph goes with an example with the same topic, and then it is ending again on the same note before the furthermore. So you have to give a smooth transitions. This is what is related to coherence and cohesion. In coherence and cohesion, be specific that you are completing one topic in one paragraph. So by one topic, I don't mean one point. By one topic is that if you are want to explain anything, supposedly I'm explaining about public service. So public service is a topic. So now in this topic, I would be completing the same thing related to public service. So one is traffic problem I discussed, other is education. Teachers, authorities avoid on strikes, happy workers. Yeah. So I'm talking about the fundings. So I'm keeping public service in mind and completing two things together. Next is organize logically. So obviously, if I'm talking about traffic jam, so I won't be switching to funding. I have to first complete my traffic congestion and then I will switch to funding. And then the range of linking words. What are linking words? Linking words are connectors basically. So connectors are very important while we are writing, and connectors are very important in terms of coherence and cohesion, because with the help of connectors, you are able to differentiate and you are able to make a smooth transition. So for instance, if I say furthermore, so furthermore means extending of an idea. If I move here, you can see on the other hand. On the other hand means if I have to contradict something, on the contrary. So if I read this connector, I will come to know, okay, now I am specifying something else. In conclusion, now I come to know that I have concluded something. So these are the range of linking words. With the help of linking words, you're able to make a smooth transition in your task too. So to go back again, these are the band descriptors. And one thing important is that you have to avoid errors, and proofreading is very important. Without proofreading, there would be dozen and dozen of errors. So what do I mean by proofreading is after writing, do read. You know what? We are ourselves a teacher, good teacher within ourselves. There resides a good teacher within ourselves. So when we read our own things, half of the errors we can only correct it. Rest obviously is on the examiner, but there are some silly errors, maybe because of time pressure, right? So you can always correct them. And so for that, you need to have proofreading habit. So all these band descriptors have equal weightage. So by equal weightage, I mean 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So it is not that you are achieving task achievement and you are doing others less. So it will give you a higher band. Obviously, you have to be near to 25%. I am not saying be 25%, but you can be near to that. So, okay, a tip for these band descriptor is the main thing you have to focus on band descriptor is your task response. If task response is wrong, rest everything goes in vain. Okay, I might give you some marks for vocab, I might give you some for vocab, I might give you some for coherence, but my main thing is missing, everything goes missing. So task response is the head of the things, which is very important. So achieving task response to 25% is very easy, because it is nothing. It is just what is asked, you are answering that. So you have a bonus of gaining 25 out of 25 in task achievement. Yes, with lexical grammar and coherence, you might lead to 20% or 21 or 22. But with task response, you can always be 100% with it. So band descriptors are very important. Again, I would say just for the evaluation of the task, which is the main thing. Okay, if I go next in this, you can see to what extent do you agree or disagree with the statement. So again, one tip I would like to give here for an introduction is that always mention your idea in advance. Don't keep examiner in suspense. See, examiner is not interested in your suspense, or he's not into a CBI where he has to crack codes, right? So we are not putting him in a pressure that, look, we are giving exam, now you have to give us an exam. So in introduction, always present your idea at the first place. By idea mean which side you are more focusing on, right? So it is very important that you focus what idea you are supporting more, and you are telling this right from the beginning, because it will help examiner to know exactly what you want to talk about and what are you focusing on. Another important tip I would like to discuss is about the conclusion. Okay, throughout our life we have been told, right, good impressive introduction, right, impressive ending, people don't read in between. But guys, it is nothing with IELTS like that. IELTS does not support this. IELTS will always go in detail in every word what you have written in every sentence. It's just one page, just 250 words. So it is not that you are writing fancy things. Please come to the point. So in conclusion also, it is important to reiterate your opinion. So by reiteration means that you are again stating which side you agree, but with a suggestion. So generally most of the people, they omit suggestion, they don't write suggestion. So it is very important that you write suggestion in conclusion. So a suggestion does not mean a solution. A suggestion is what you think could be done. So there's a difference between the word suggestion and a solution. So people do generally get confused in that. So solution is something which we give to, ease out the situation. But suggestion is something whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. So here a suggestion we have given, like authority should balance the spending between these two sectors. So it's a suggestion that government should, budgetize their things. They should make a balance between where to invest, where not to invest. So this is the important part for conclusion. And for introduction, I said, always remember that you have to give your opinion right from the start. Don't keep examiner in guesswork. With this, it would be very easy for you to attempt your writing task 2, which is of more weightage and where you can focus more. Okay, and I have another example for task 1. So I know it's too much for us in 1 hour, in 1 day, but I'm just briefing you out just for the band descriptor sake, right? So yes, there is a lot of things, lot of part by part, everything is there to discuss. But obviously, first we should understand the logic, the idea behind the writing, how it is checked, how it is evaluated. So we have another task, which is task 1, graphical representation. So here you can see is the graphical representation is about the bar graph, right? So here you don't have to respond anything, because the question does not ask you anything that what do you think. So here the band descriptor says task achievement. So task achievement means where you are achieving the aim behind task 1. So what is the aim behind task 1? The aim behind task 1 is that you have to write an overall. So what do you mean by overall? Overall means that what do you analyze in it? And it is your own imagination, what analysis you make in just 1 or 2 lines. Next important part is that you have to mention what is the highest, what is the maximum thing is achieved, what is the lowest, and rest every data is in comparison form. So these are the 4 aspects which are required in your task. So if I see, I'll show you a sample here. So you can see the first I have rephrased an introduction by saying the bar chart demonstrate the percentage of people who ate in fast food restaurant in US during the period between 2003 and 2013. So if I move back, you can see the question. The bar chart shows how frequently people in USA ate in fast food, right? And if I move further, you can see that I have just rephrased that question by adding some of the elements in it. Like here you see frequently people in USA. So you can see in the picture, it is percentage of people. So again, for writing an introduction, it is very important that you are mentioning the type of graph. You are mentioning the units. So units here in the graph is percentage. You are mentioning the years. Years are given here 2003 and 13. You are mentioning the country, which is given USA. So these are few things which has to be mentioned. And your introduction for task 1 is not more than 20 to 30 words. 30, I'm saying 2 at a higher range. So maximum 15 to 20 word is the best. You just have to rephrase it, nothing else. Next is your overall. So overall means basically an overview. So there's a difference between conclusion and overall. So a conclusion and an overall has two separate meanings. A conclusion is what you are summing up and concluding, and which is fixed. So an overall is never fixed. See, every mind is different. Every mind is different. Every mind will have a different analysis. So overall for every student would be different. So there is nothing where you have to fix things. So here you can see overall, it can be seen that most people prefer to eat fast food once a week or once or twice a month. So once a week or once or twice a month are the people who prefer to eat more. So this was my analysis. I might not be convinced with this. I might want to write something else. I might say that people generally ate fast food maximum in year 2003 and 2006. By 2013, the preference decreased. So this can also be an overall. So it is not that previous one was right and now is wrong. Both are right. It is your imagination, your analysis, how you want to go with the overall. And rest is your body paragraph. In body paragraph, what we cover is your highest and lowest. We cover your comparisons. So in task 1, basically, apart from band descriptor, you have to have this creativity skill in describing the graph. So it might seem simple. Oh, I know. Oh, I just have to write 5%, 10%, 20%. No, the idea is not that. Even an examiner can see that. Examiner wants to see how you can represent it, how you can put this thing in writing, so that without having a look at the graph, an examiner can just see how the explanation is done. So your explanation should be that effective that examiner does not need to see even the question. So it should cover all the aspects and it should make all the relevant comparisons. So if you look here, you can see over the period of time, what is clear from the chart is less than 5% of people ate in fast food restaurant every day, and nearly same percentage did not go to restaurant at all. So over a period of time. So if you look, so less than 5%. So they have picked up 2 categories, which is everyday and never. So everyday and never were 2 categories which were almost on the same platform. So now it is your, again, idea of picking up the categories, or you are picking up by years. So this was a sample related to task 1, where you have to believe the fact that you have to put the facts in a more creative way, more calculative way, rather than putting straight direct figures. You cannot put straight direct figures every time. It has to be in a calculation mode. So a tip for task 1 is that start using calculation. Everybody must be knowing the addition, subtraction, multiplication. So start using this mathematical calculation in terms of explaining. So by addition, I say it is 5% more. By subtraction, I say it is 5% less. If I have to multiply, it is 5 times. If I have to divide, it is 1/5 of the share. So these are the things which will help you to draft different types of sentences, right? So again, complex structures are needed, different type of sentence structures are needed. So that is the thing. And obviously the linking words, where you can see in task one, again, another tip is that you don't have to every time use further, more, moreover, adding to it. We make the years, we make the data as our linking word. So you can see like in 2003, comma, I made a linking word. I made the year as a linking word in the year 2013. So you can always go up with this so that you avoid less of the linking words which we used in task 2. So ideally, the main idea behind my today's presentation was the band descriptor, where I wanted to focus more on what exactly you have to focus on while doing the writing module, because writing module is not just restricted to writing the things, and it is also more of technicality of the writing. So you have to focus more on technicality, and you have to focus on more of your practice. So time pressure is also a major important thing which people face. So you know that when I wrote this thing about the draft, 20 minutes and 40 minutes, so you can see that it is 60 minutes. You really have to practice under time pressure. There is a lot of question like how can we cope up with time, we are always stuck on task 2, we are not able to complete. So it is all time management. You have to sit at one place for 1 hour consistently, and you have to make your speed limit. So if you see, the task you have to attempt is strategy. Strategically, if you are equipped with the things, it would be easy. So again, important tip for IELTS is that start doing brainstorming, start reading about different topics. So topics are general: crime, pollution, environment, capital punishment. All the essays are surrounded by these common topics. Main focus is that you should know about the content, you should not generalize, and you should do the brainstorming. The more brainstorming you will do about the topic, the more you will be impressive in your writing. And prioritize your points. What do I mean by prioritizing is, when we write in general, what we have is we write more easy things more and difficult things afterwards. So it's a human psychology. Whenever we have this thing, we have more of important things at end and less important things first. So brainstorming will help you to prioritize your points. So when you will start prioritizing your points, you will be more successful in it. So I hope it was an informative session. I was able to provide you the best of the thing in this 1 hour, because writing is very vast, very elaborative. So it was a quick, short explanation for what is about band descriptor, right? So thank you.
Thank you, indeed, Ankita. And I think we should spare some time for question answering as well, no?
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely.
So over to our students. If you have any doubts, you can ask straight away to the expert.
Guys, if you have any doubt, you're free to ask. You can write the question. I can just let you know. If you have any doubt on any aspect of writing so far, what you have understood so far.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not exactly concerning writing, but in general, yeah. Can I ask?
Yeah.
How long is the IELTS sir, like it's validity, when does that expire? Like 2 or 3 years, something?
Sorry,
Like
I'm not able to hear you.
after giving the exam, how
Yeah,
long
it's
is it
2 years,
valid for?
Lohit. It's 2 years.
Yes.
The validity
Okay,
is for
thank
2
you.
years, right, Ankita?
Yeah, the validity for the paper is 2 years. So after 2 years, you have to reappear.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, yes, anyone so far? Anything about writing?
Anything in, yes, anything about writing, not particularly about IELTS writing.
So anything about writing, even if you want to ask about other module, that's also comfortable.
Yes.
You can ask about listening, reading, speaking. Even that's because it's complete. IELTS is complete module. So today it was specifically writing. That ways. Wow, we have got all equipped people here.
Yes, it seems.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's next, Dr. Shinde?
Probably it must be because the students, it's the first time that they actually listen to the details. It must be the first time
Yeah,
that
so
they
basically when they'll attempt, they will come to know
yeah,
more. So doubts will come after they will attempt things.
exactly. It was a great session indeed. It was a pleasure and it's a privilege that we have you.
Thank you so much. I hope I did justice because it was actually at the end moment and I thought of giving the best possible thing which I could have delivered.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just right.
Yes.
Beautifully delivered. Thank you so much.
You're
So,
welcome.
yeah. Any questions? Once again, if you want to use the chat box, you can do that. Yeah, there is a question in the chat box.
So there's a question here in the box which says, after taking academic session, is there need to take a general exam for job? See, there are two things in.
Oh, I think she accidentally left the meeting.
Yeah, she's back.
Okay.
Sorry, I got disconnected. Yeah. So basically for IELTS is like if you have to go for study, so you have to give academic. So after reaching the country, when you complete your studies, so you obviously will go for a PR. Then you have to do a GT exam. But for work visa, you don't need to do a GT exam because like if you're going for 1 year study, you get a 1 year work permit. So for that 1 year permit, you don't need to appear for exam. For PR, yes, you need to appear for exam. So that's the difference. If you are going with a study base, yes, if you're going directly with the PR thing, you have to do a general exam. And for work permit in UK, I would say there is a UK VI exam. For UK VI, basically people give for UK work permit. You're welcome.
Any more questions?
Probably we'll get questions later, and I'll direct it to you.
Sure. No problem. Anytime.
So, Ebimalt or Logit, whoever is taking it up.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for that session. I would like to invite Abby for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, welcome.
Good evening, all. It's my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. My heartfelt thanks goes out to Ms Ankita Jain for this highly informative and beneficial session. The detailed descriptions, the examples, and the tips surely gave us a clear idea about how to work on our English. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking this wonderful session on short notice.
My
We are
pleasure.
grateful to we are grateful to Dr. Shinto Dennis, the HOD of the English Department of Marian College Kuttikkanam, for giving us this opportunity. I also extend our gratitude to Dr. Blessing Sibi for taking the effort to organize this event. I thank all the participants for the active participation. Thank you.